I'm none illa. This is Let's Talk Music. Today we're going to be talking about a budget. What's the importance of a budget? Why do you need a budget? Look, when it comes to finances and services and everything you have to do as an artist, the underlying factor and the underlying question you will always receive is, do you have a budget or what's your budget? A lot of people may take this offensive. But the services that are being provided to you, or potential services that may be provided to you, they have a reason for asking you this. They're asking you this because now is the time to where you have to decide, have you buckled down and set an allotted amount aside for you to progress in your career, right? So let's say you need a cover done. You need graphics done. You need any kind of promo, any marketing, any videographer. You need someone to come in and help you shake hands, kiss babies, all that, right? So if you tell someone, maybe someone has a certain service they provide for a few $1,000s, right? It may go like this. You contact them, hey, I need you to help me with promotion of this, blah, blah, blah. Initially, especially if they work with people who aren't just independent or local artists, they may charge $2,500. Given an estimate of some random number, but you can't afford more than 1,000 or maybe 1,500. So, what do you say? Does that necessarily mean you can't get the service? It could be, but in that situation, what you should be doing is saying, well, unfortunately, my budget is $1,500, right? At that point, you may put the ball in that service provider's hands to either say, hey, all right, well, let's work with your budget and I can give you these services, or I have someone who I partner with or someone else who can provide this service for that much. They may not be able to do as much as I can, but they can do this. Or you might approach a videographer, and this videographer has different price tiers. You know, they may have different levels. They may have different kind of cameras, different places they want to shoot your video at, different wardrobe changes, different hours of time they can shoot you. But the first thing they'll ask you is, what's your budget? They're not asking you this because they don't want to shoot your video. They're asking you this because the information that you give them may or may not allow them to maneuver to where they can customize a package for you. The conversation may go something like this. You may say, yo, I like what you're doing. Can I get your video services? I want to inquire about rates. They may hit you back, okay, cool. What's your budget? First thing you may say is, well, I got about 1,200 to work with, or maybe I can work with 2,000, or maybe let's say you are really struggling and you say, I only have about 800 to work with, 500 to work with. At this point, now they can say, well, I can do a 2-hour shoot. I can do this. Or it may flat out be, I can't do that. I can't accommodate that budget. But on the end of the artist, this allows you to do two things. This allows you to prep for any negotiations. And two, it allows you to already know how you're approaching these services. So if you only make a certain amount of money a month, or you're the person who's helping you with finances, your investor has a certain amount of money set aside, let's say you have a $5,000 total budget per month. Well, you have to consider all the different things you have to spend money for, right? That $5,000 isn't going towards one thing. Maybe you want to set aside $1,200 for video. Maybe you want to set aside $200 for graphics, $300 for graphics. Maybe you want to set aside a couple hundred for an outfit. All depending. I'm just throwing out different things you could be spending for. You want to set aside money for studio. Like, you want to put money aside. You want to write you a list so that you can budget this item, this item, this item, this item, itemize them, so that when it comes down to the final amount of finances that you're dealing with, you make it under that $5,000 a month cut. That's the purpose of budgeting. You want to budget so that you make sure you don't run out of where your money can be spent. Otherwise, you're hurting yourself. right? It's no different than if you were budgeting to go grocery shopping. You know, you have $150 to go to the store, so you need to make sure you get everything under that $150. The moment you go overboard, what happens? You can't buy anything. So treat that the same way when it comes to your career, to your music, to your investment of your music, your time and your effort. If you're working and you're getting money coming to the side and you know you only put aside a certain amount of money a month, make sure everything you're budgeting for that month fits under that amount that you put aside. Because otherwise, you're losing. The reason why you're losing is because music is a package deal. You have to do everything as a whole, right? So if there's a music conference or if there's an event to where you need to pop up, make sure you're putting things in your budget. The music conference costs $250 to attend. It costs $1,000 to attend. Make sure in your money you have for that month, you're like, all right, $250. All right, $1,000. All right, well, hey, you know what? I don't really know how much gas is, but because of I know what this money is for, then I'm just gonna put this money aside. I'm gonna put $300 aside for the gas I'll be using this week, or the gas I'll be using in the next 2 weeks or the month, however your gas tank is. Point is, you need to understand budgeting, but you also need to understand that that's the number one thing a lot of people will ask you or your representative when it comes to your budget, so they can bounce back and reflect of whether or not they can provide services for you to make sure they can accommodate the money that you have on hold. Don't think that because people ask, do you have a budget, are they downing you or talking about you? It is your place to understand that you need to treat everything with your music as a business. You are a business, so treat it as such. Anyway, y'all know the deal, man. Subscribe, like, comment, share, all that, and get used to this right here. Let's talk music. I'll see you next time. I'm out.